Oh, it's a great time to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan. It is, because training camp is going to be here soon. I know we are waiting and waiting and waiting, and I know it's getting tough, but we are getting to that point where, we're going to see what some of these players are doing in the offseason. And I want to talk about Nolan Smith in this video. I want to talk about Yannick Ngakoue, what he did that could really change the Eagles' perspective if they're going after him or not, and some other extra news I kind of want to go over at the end of this video as well. So, yeah, let's get straight into the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's on a fantastic day. I hope everyone's enjoying their work week, enjoying every day of it, because I have news every single day, and this is what we do every day. So, when it comes to Nolan Smith, we got some news. Okay, now only 2 days of OTAs were reported by the beat writers that we can only go over because everything's a private practice and we can't really hear or see the depth chart or really see what's going on. But from now until training camp, obviously the players are off, so it's really up to them to really take advantage of the time that they have. To get themselves prepared, to get themselves ready. And one guy that's getting extra prepared is Nolan Smith, okay? Promising Howie Roseman on the phone, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best player you ever had. And trust me, he's taking advantage of it. Now, he actually has been working at Von Miller's Pass Rush Summit Camp, which is pretty cool. Now, Micah Parsons is there. Max Crosby, a few guys are there, which is good. So, the guy that, he models his play after, Von Miller, guy that he looks up to, is now in his camp, which is really cool. Taking advantage of this opportunity and a lot of things. Not only is he in Von Miller's camp, but, he's playing with Hassan Reddick that, that's what he was compared to in the draft. And that's great. You know what I mean? You always want to know what these players are doing in the offseason. And it's nice to see that. Last offseason, we were seeing Jalenhurts take out all the receivers and working their tails off and really kind of get that chemistry going. But for a defensive line camp like this is really going to be for technique and pass rush and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see what Sean Desai does I'm really excited to see what he does with Nolan Smith, whether he puts him outside as an outside linebacker, transition. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that he could do. You know what I mean? And Nolan Smith is taking, obviously, very seriously, and I'm glad, you know what I mean? Not taking nothing for granted, wants to be the best player on this team, and, I can't really complain about it. But going forward, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? These guys, I know he had a highly impressive, really good OTAs. I understand they're not in full pads. I understand they're not not tackling each other 100%. So we can only take a grain of salt out of certain things out of that aspect. But obviously, once we get back into camp, once we get full pads on them, once they actually get into these joint practices, we're about to see what this team's all about and how some of these guys are going to do. And Nolan Smith, I don't have any doubts. I feel like he's going to be a great player. I think he's going to make a fast transition. I don't think this is going to be one of those first round picks that's going to take a year and a half. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I think he's going to be used in different ways. And I think Sean Desai has a big plan for Nolan Smith going forward, because really at the end of the day, your linebacker spot is kind of weak right now because, Nicholas Morrow might be a big question mark. And obviously Nakobe Dean is, we feel pretty good about Nakobe Dean going into this year as a first year, pretty much full-time starter. So if you wanted, obviously Nolan Smith could play as an outside linebacker. You can move him around if you get some extra get some extra defensive linemen or want to move some guys around. Sean Desai has the flexibility to do that. I mean, you have that 4.3 speed in Nolan Smith, and his athleticism is off the charts. So it's not just by a 40 time. I mean, he's naturally just gifted with so much talent when it comes to his athleticism. I feel like you could do so much more with him, just be a prime edge rusher. But obviously, us Eagles fans, we like the defensive line. We like these guys on the edge, and how much he's going to bring to the table, we'll see, and how much he's going to be used for outside linebacker or going in coverage or whatever the case may be. As a defensive end, he might go in coverage. We'll see what happens. But I'm really excited. I'm pretty pumped about it. And like I said, Nolan Smith is taking advantage of every single moment that has come toward him. So very excited about that. Next on the list, Yannick Ngakoue. We got some news. Obviously, the Eagles, could they have interest in another defensive end? I feel like they will. The longer Yannick Ngakoue is on the market right now, the better chance the Eagles are going to get him. I feel like they just add another pass rusher, man. I mean, I don't see why not. Why that's the big deal. You can't have. I mean, is there really? Having too many pass rushers, is that a problem? Is that too much? No, I feel like it's going to, the more depth you have, the better it's going to be. Defensive tackle, I think, is perfect in depth right now. I think the Eagles would at least really like to have one more defensive end coming into camp, and I think Yannick Ngakoue can be the guy. Now, it says that now Yannick has hired a new agent in Drew Rosenhaus. Now, this one is interesting because every time there's a player that hires Drew Rosenhaus all the time, it's because of money. It's because they want to get money. It might be that case. Now, from a couple weeks ago, Yannick Ngakoue did say that it wasn't about the money. It was really about finding a home, really, because it's from team to team to team, from different team to different team, and he kind of wants to stay in some place. So I don't know. Hiring Drew kind of made it not seem that way now. He might actually want somewhat of a contract because, to be honest with you, he deserves a little bit more money because he's had he's averaged, 7 to 9 sacks a season, you know what I mean, which is really good. Every year, don't matter what team he's on, he's producing regardless. You know what I mean? So not too old, relatively still young in his prime and doing his thing. And I have no issue with signing him. I was in on getting Leonard Fournette. I was in on getting Leonard Floyd. Sorry. I was in on maybe getting Frank Clark, maybe. But I was a really big fan of getting Yannick Ngakoue because even when he left the Jags on that franchise tag, had a lot of interest in coming to Philadelphia, playing with this defensive line at that time. And this defensive line is much better than when he was interested in coming here at that moment. So I feel like he's going to be in a better position right now to come to the Philadelphia Eagles and really do a good job. Because really, when you really think about it, you have what? You have Reddick, you have Graham, you have Sweat, you have Nolan Smith, and then you have Derek Barnett. And if you're keeping Derek Barnett, which it seems like they are doing, and hopefully can produce a little bit for us, add another defensive end to that rotation, and you have a complete 3-set rotation, which would be pretty good. So I'm still very interested in getting Yannick Ngakoue. The longer he is on the market, the better it is going to be for us. A team that was just in the Super Bowl. How, you know what I mean? I mean, has got definitely a tougher schedule this year, but I think this roster is significantly better than last year. I really do. Other than really seeing what we have at safety, and I think they will find it. I think Sidney Brown will explode at that position. I feel like he will make some noise. And linebacker is just find that kind of that tangent piece right now. And then with Nakobe Dean and really with the defensive line, it's just luxury to get another guy like this. You know what I mean? Even if you sign him to a 2-year deal, as long as it's not crazy, I would definitely pull the trigger on it. I have no issue with it whatsoever. So definitely look out for this. I mean, there's 4 open roster spots right now. Okay. And the Eagles are definitely going after somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, less likely it's going to be wide receiver. Most likely it's not. I feel like it's going to be linebacker, safety. I think more linebacker and defensive end are probably my two most. I think the weakest positions right now are linebacker and safety. But if I want to put some realism into it, what Howie Roseman is going to do, I feel like adding another pass rusher is just another luxury for the Philadelphia Eagles. And sign him for 2 years. Have him this year and next year, where if you want to avoid next year's contract and you don't want him anymore, or it's because of injury, they won't get hurt in the dead cap area of things and they can get something done. So Drew Rosenhaus being hired as his agent now is showing that there could be like a money situation where he might want to get paid a little bit, because you can't believe what NFL players say. They might say, oh, I don't care about the money. I just want to find a home. And I believe he wants to find a home. I definitely believe that part of it, because he's been going from team to team to team. You know what I mean? So, and he probably just he wants to be familiar with some players and wants to be around guys and form some chemistry and a bond with some guys. So I could see that he's probably frustrated with that, no doubt. But I like this. The longer he's available, guys, the better chance the Eagles are going to have. So I don't know if he's going to be visiting teams or anything. Some guys do visits, some guys don't. Some guys will just make a phone call and be like, hey, I'm signing here, and that's it. So if he takes visits, I'll obviously, report that. Anything else that happens with any of these free agents that are available, I will report it. So I'm just hoping. I really want to sign Yannick really badly. So hopefully it does happen. Lastly, we had some news a few days ago, and this is stupid. I mean, not stupid, but it's it's stuff that's done with now, but it's nice to kind of go back to it. Now, Akbar Yamia, if you guys remember who Akbar is, he does obviously the Ninja Warrior. He's one of the hosts on Ninja Warrior. And he played for the NFL before, but he had the same agent as Derrick Henry, and he put out this tweet, beginning of free agency, that, Derrick Henry and the Eagles were pretty much, it was going to happen. Right. He went on the Rich Eisen show, and he pretty much said that he didn't put out this tweet for no reason. He heard that the Eagles and Titans had something locked up for Derrick Henry, that there was motion with this. And he said because he put this tweet out, that thing after, for some reason, when he put this tweet out, everything just started to unravel the wrong way, because apparently he knows Derrick Henry's agent really well and heard a lot of things about the Eagles calling the Titans and almost getting something done for Derrick Henry. So this is a what could have been type thing, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But I'm not going to go crazy about it. I mean, obviously it's done deal now. Like, we signed Rashad Penny, we traded for DeAndre Swift, we have Kenneth Gainwell, we have Boston, we signed Boston Scott earlier. So, I mean, the Eagles are set at running back right now. So maybe there was interest. I don't know. Maybe there was, but either the Eagles backed out because of price for trade, and I don't blame them. They traded AJ Brown. They probably made one of the biggest mistakes, and they're still trying to find a receiver right now. DeAndre Hopkins might be the next receiver in Tennessee right now. You know what I mean? They've really been trying to, I think they've noticed that they made that big mistake in trading AJ Brown to the Eagles, and and it didn't really sit well with the head coach at the time either. But the Derrick Henry thing, it seemed like it was pretty real, and he went on national television on the Rich Eisen show and was like, yeah, this was pretty real. This was actually going to happen. Apparently, something must have stopped the trade, or it could have been money. It could have been draft compensation, a contract, maybe Derrick. I don't know. It could have been almost anything. I could probably guess. It was probably draft compensation, and the Eagles weren't giving up first round picks next year. It just wasn't going to happen. So it probably was a lot, and hence why he probably wasn't moved from the Titans in the beginning. Either they wanted him, they wanted to try to work something out with Derrick Henry, or the teams backed off because they were just, they wanted way too much for him. And I could totally get that. I wouldn't give up Derrick Henry for nothing. I wouldn't. You don't trade players for nothing. So that's why they probably backed out of that situation going forward. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, we got a lot. I mean, there's still a lot going on right now. I know it's a quiet, dead zone type time right now, but we are still on the road to training camp right now. And obviously, when that day comes, I'm going to have no life every single day. There'll probably be 20-minute videos of how much I'm going to be going over every single step of the way of training camp. And if you guys lasted this long in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. Cover the Eagles every single day, every bit of news that you need to hear. Yeah, I'm excited about Nolan Smith going to Von Miller's camp, all that great stuff. Yannick Ngakoue could still be a huge possibility. Really, if I was to really add any position on this team right now, it'd be defensive line. You can't have enough. I mean, you really can't have enough. You can have as many as you want in defensive linemen. I think adding Yannick is just, I mean, look what he did to Jordan Mailata the last time we faced Yannick Ngakoue. He destroyed him. You know what I mean? So he's a really good piece. Now, he's not great against the run, but I don't care about that. He's here to be a pass rusher and get to the quarterback. I care less how good he is against the run. I mean, he's a depth piece. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not in the first in the rotation. He's just a depth piece. Some guys are great, good, better against the pass, worse against the run, good against the run, bad against the pass. It just depends. No, every player is going to be perfect and balanced. You know what I mean? So getting Yannick, why not? I have no issue with it whatsoever. So I appreciate everybody joining the video or watching the video today. If you guys, like I said, haven't subscribed, I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one for more news, and I appreciate it so much. Remember, Shake Squad up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.